be here, having some camera problems and having some streaming connection problems. But here I am live on YouTube. And yesterday I picked up a hitchhiker. Okay. Now I always pick up hitchhikers, or at least I pick up hitchhikers whenever I'm able to, because I live out here on a long road to nowhere, and anytime I see someone walking along the road, they're probably in a bad situation. And so I pick them up and I take them like somewhere. And so yesterday again, I've stopped for some guy by the side of the road, and he got in my car and immediately started like, interdimensional beings are out to get him, and opened a can of like Four Loco, or one of those weird alcohol things, and started drinking. I'm like, all right, let's get this guy somewhere fast. And now, before you start worrying about my personal safety, like I almost always have the dog in the car with me, and he's a 120-pound Akita mix. And people think he's pretty intimidating, so people generally don't mess with me when I have the dog. And anyway, like a solo hitchhiker, like they're generally just people hiking or people, trying to get somewhere. So it's not really a problem. I don't feel particularly threatened, but this guy was, like definitely had some issues. And so we started talking, and he's about my age. He's 2 years older than me. We grew up in the same place. Like, we're from towns about, 2 hours apart. Uh, he left home when he was 15. I left home when I was 16. He came to California when he was 17. I came to California when I was 18. He has a history of abuse and substance use and sexual assault and things like that. Me as well. And we were such the same person. Like, we could have grown up in the same household and, lived the same lives, except that we had made choices in our lives that led us to very different paths. Like, shit happens. A lot of people do a lot of shitty things to people. Shit happens in the world, but it's so clearly about the choices that we make, what we do with what we have, and the context that we give to our lives. We're in the car driving along, and he's like, "Well, I'm a person without a home and a family." I'm like, "Well, I am also a person without a home and a family. Here, I'm just here temporarily. I, normally would be living in my car, traveling around. The only difference is that I have a car, he's traveling around on foot." And going on and on like this, that he's talking about how, I seem to be very positive about the life that I've had. And it's entirely a choice. If we're talking about, for example, the family, that he and I are both people without families. And for him, that's something that's really upsetting and really distressing. And it's something that bothers him. And, honestly, for me, I really was distressed by that as well in my life. But it got to a point where it's like, I need to change the way that I think about my lack of family relationships, and I let it be an empowering, liberating part of my life, that I am liberated from family relationships. I'm liberated from those attachments. And it was simply a choice that I made. And it definitely came after a period of, kind of suffering and agonizing about it. But it was a very conscious decision on my part to stop being distressed by my lack of family relationships and use it as an empowering, liberating part of my life. And this goes for really everything, because your life is your life. You are the one living your life. And absolutely shit happens. And sometimes we don't have good choices. But your life is your life. Your life is your choice. You choose how to live your life. Even if you have, a history of trauma or some, mental health issue where you have, flashbacks or intrusive thoughts or emotional dysregulation, something like that, your thoughts and your feelings are your own. You are the only one feeling your feelings and thinking your thoughts. And you have control over that. That's something that I think, mainstream psychology and psychiatry doesn't really emphasize, that it lets people feel like they're powerless to their own thoughts and feelings. And it's like, no, you're not. You are not powerless. Your thoughts and your feelings do not control you. You control them, right? You control your mind, you control your feelings, you control your body. And sometimes it's difficult, like, yes, it's going to happen. Like, something is going to trigger you. You're going to start having some, intrusive thoughts or emotional struggle. But you have to be able to witness what's going on in your head and decide to do something different. Like, all my life, I've been upset and distressed by this and that and whatever. And I fall into these, thought patterns, and I get, whatever feeling. Today, I'm going to choose to handle this situation differently. I'm going to catch those thoughts. I'm going to catch these feelings. I am going to think and feel differently. And it definitely takes time. Like, this is not something you do once and you're fixed and you're better. Like, this is you creating a new habit in your life. This is you every day, every moment, making a choice to do it differently, to put a different context on your life, to put a different context on your experience, to put, a different context on your thoughts and your feelings, and to handle them in a different way. And it is always, always, always your choice. That, the choices that he made led him to a life where he's like, hitchhiking and drinking booze and telling me how he's, a heroin user and a meth user, and it's something he struggles with. And here I am, same background, same experience, same point in history, same point in time in our lives, same. But I made some very different choices that led me to being sober and doing yoga and being vegan and, living in this ashram place. And it's just about the different choices. Like, he and I didn't have any different opportunities or any different, there's nothing special about anything that I've done that, that is different from what he's done with his life. The only difference is that, like, he's a male body, I'm a female bodied person. Like, that's really literally the only difference between the two of us. But I chose differently. I made different choices with my life. I took control of my life and my thoughts and my feelings, and it led me to a very different place. So that's kind of what I have to say about my hitchhiking friend. I hope he's doing well. I dropped him off. There's some BLM land, some public federal open lands out here, quite a ways down. It's about halfway to where he was trying to go. So I dropped him off there, and it was closed, but I can only assume he's going to hop the fence. I showed him how to get. There's a waterfall and a spring. Showed him how to, get out there. Hopefully he's doing well. He wouldn't take any food or water or first aid kit from me, so I took my little guru image off of my mala, gave it to him, and I've got a ton of these things, so I put a new one on. Gave him that and wished him well. And I mean, what what else can you do for people? You try to be a good, positive example of what you're doing, and hopefully it catches on, and hopefully he will remember me and make some different choices in his life. And I don't know. You do what you can with what you have. So, okay, Nityanandam, one last little thing for those of you still watching. Tomorrow morning, so it is Saturday morning now, tomorrow morning, Sunday, I am going to be doing a sunrise meditation at the Shiva temple, because I have been getting up early and watching the sunrise. And when the sun comes up over the hills and the light hits the deities in the Shiva temple out there, it's a really beautiful, precious, sacred moment. And I want to be able to share all of that with you. So I will be going live down at the Shiva temple at sunrise, and we can all meditate together, watch as the first rays of light come up over the hill and hit the deities in the temple. And I'll talk a little bit about kind of this change that I've made in my life, getting up before dawn now, and how that's been benefiting me. But thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and I will see you all again soon. Nityanandam.